scramble看，到处都是。
Xi'an, an ancient city known as the cradle of Chinese civilization, the gateway to the Silk Road, and home to the terracotta warriors, has seen the rise and fall of empires. But even with all its storied past, nothing prepared this city for the chaos that came falling from the sky one unforgettable afternoon. The day began quietly. The streets of Xi'an were alive with their usual rhythm. Schoolchildren walking in groups, tourists exploring the city walls, and the hum of scooters weaving between traffic. In the Muslim quarter, the aroma of grilled lamb skewers and fresh flatbread drifted lazily through the alleys. It was a normal day in every sense, until the wind changed. At first, it was subtle. The sky dimmed slightly, and the warm air turned heavy. Vendors looked up. Locals took notice as the bustling chatter of the street grew quieter. A single gust of wind swept through the market street, scattering napkins and plastic bags. Then came another, and another. What followed was nature's warning, a rolling thunder that seemed to shake the earth beneath their feet. Within minutes, the sky over Xi'an turned a menacing shade of charcoal. Clouds swirled in unnatural patterns, forming thick, low-hanging masses. And then, as if the heavens had cracked open, it began. Hail. Violent, sudden, and unrelenting. Not the soft drizzle that sometimes precedes a storm, not even the hard droplets of rain that force people to run for shelter. This was something else. Dense, jagged chunks of ice falling with terrifying speed and power. Some as small as peas, others as large as eggs, all capable of doing real damage. The streets transformed into scenes of panic. Pedestrians screamed and scattered, clutching coats, bags, or anything they could use to shield themselves. Drivers slammed on brakes, unsure whether to keep going or stop. Those caught in open areas rushed to find shelter, beneath shop awnings, bus stops, or under the narrow protection of tree canopies. But even those were no match for the storm. The sound was deafening. Hailstones hammered rooftops and cars like drumbeats from an angry sky. Windows shattered, roof tiles cracked. In a matter of moments, the streets were littered with broken glass, dented metal, and ice. In residential areas, balconies overflowed with accumulating hail. Small gardens were ravaged, plants were torn apart. Trees, stripped of leaves, bowed under the weight of accumulating ice. Elderly residents peered from behind curtains, some whispering prayers, others silently watching as nature claimed the city for itself. Downtown, the iconic bell tower stood tall, but even its centuries-old structure echoed with the impact of the hail. The ancient stone didn't yield, but the modern glass buildings surrounding it didn't fare as well. Cracks spiderwebbed across windows, storefront signs were knocked loose, and digital billboards flickered in and out as power lines strained under the load. The storm didn't last long in the grand scheme of time, but in those 20 or 30 minutes, Xi'an seemed to stand still. A city used to foot traffic, food stalls and flocks of tourists became a frozen echo chamber, overwhelmed by the sounds of crashing ice and howling wind. When the hail finally stopped, a strange quiet settled over the city. It wasn't peace. It was the stunned silence that follows trauma. The streets, usually warm and colorful, now looked like a battlefield. Cars were dimpled and cracked. Shops had flooded interiors. Ice piled at the edges of sidewalks like dirty snow. Water mixed with shards of broken neon signage and food waste from overturned carts. Cleanup would take time. But amid the devastation, there was something else. Unity. Neighbors emerged from their buildings to help clear pathways. Restaurant owners, despite damage to their shops, set up small tables to serve hot soup and tea to passersby. A group of university students organized an impromptu effort to cover exposed public equipment with tarps. In the temples and mosques scattered throughout Xi'an, people gathered not just to pray, but to comfort one another, sharing stories of where they were when the storm hit. Nature had reminded Xi'an of something it rarely sees in its modern hustle: humility. No matter how many high-rises go up, how advanced technology becomes, or how many layers of history lie beneath the soil, the forces of the natural world can still shake everything to its core in a matter of minutes. In the following days, the sun returned, melting the lingering piles of ice. Cleanup crews worked tirelessly, restoring order. Glass was replaced. Roads were cleared, business resumed. And just like that, the city carried on, scarred but stronger. Thank you for watching. If you felt the power of this story, please hit the like button and subscribe for more dramatic tales of nature and resilience from around the world. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever experienced a storm like this? Until next time,